Right, guys, question time. And what's the name of the frigate? As I said, what's the name of the frigate? Frigate means a battleship. This is the battleship. That's the name of the company. Imagine what type of or what kind of leaders want his company to be called a battleship. What kind of that? Perhaps he's obsessed in some military history or some famous battles, sea battles, right? He's obsessed with that, and I guess he's a fanatic in that. So that's the reason, and that's the reason he called himself, the company, a frigate. So this is the culture of the company. We can imagine that. What kind of culture is that in the company called frigate? And the boss is the military fanatic, is a missionary basis. This kind of a company always have a missionary feature in the company. When he managed the company, he used his ministry way, the ministry style. Would you like to work in a company like that? Probably not, right? Let's read, ladies and gentlemen. The requirement was rather simple. We don't have the knowledge on B, and this is the strategy part of the questions, because they want you to talk about the usefulness of organizational structures and the changes of organizational structures that to be helped in strategy making or the strategy changes. But this question, we will not be touching this here, right? And we will be totally focusing on A. This is also the entry-level question. They want you to analyze frigate using the culture web or any other appropriate framework. You don't have to think about the other framework. The culture web is the best, right? For understanding organizational culture. So, very simple question. Just list down all these 6 physical manifestations and identify where they are in the company called frigate, and tell the examiners or the markers, are there any implications of such a culture? All right, that's it. Let's do it together. This is also very simple and easy question. Take about 7 to 8 minutes to finish. Easy. Let's take a look at that. Frigate Limited is based in the country of Acton. It imports electronic components from other countries, imports components from other countries, and distributes them throughout the domestic market. So he is the distributor. He does not have any capacity of manufacturing or production. So the company was, in simple English, this is a trading company. The company was formed 20 years ago by Ron Friel, who owned 80% of the shares, and the further 10% of the shares is owned by his wife, and 5% each by his 2 daughters. So a typical family-based company again, right? Also, he has never been in the Navy. But Ron is obsessed by ships, setting, and the naval histories. As I said, this guy is a military fanatic, and he is known to everyone as the commander. Ladies and gentlemen, commander. Up until now, what do you think? Commander. In the company, you don't call him boss. You don't address him Ron. You don't address him Mr. Friel. You need to call him commander. What is this? What is this? In the culture web, what is this? It is the symbol, right? This is the symbol, ladies and gentlemen. What symbol is that? Is it a visual symbol or a verbal symbol? Yes, is a verbal symbol. And what about frigate itself? Frigate itself is a symbol too, but this is more like a visual symbol. A name, this is a visual symbol, all right? In culture web. And similarly, at the same time, these two also relate to these stories. Perhaps he considered himself as a hero. Why? Because he did something successful for the company. He led the company into today, start from the very beginning, and he considered himself as a hero. Therefore, he want you to address him like a commander. That's the reason. So these 2 links to the story as well, ladies and gentlemen. We need to put them a story. So symbol, verbal symbol, and story. Okay, up until now. Easy? Yep. And is how he expects his employee to address him. He increasingly spends time on his own boat. Yeah. An expensive motor cruiser, which is moored in the local harbor 20 minutes drive away. And when he is not on holiday, Ron is always at work at 8 a.m. in the morning to make sure everybody arrives on time, and he is also there at 5:30 p.m. to ensure that they do not leave early. What is that? Early in the morning to check the attendance, make sure everybody don't arrive late, and 5:30 p.m. he will be there again to make sure everybody do not leave early. Is a control system, right? This is a control system. He controls on the attendance. Control system. And at the same time, it's a ritual and routine as well. 8 a.m., 5:30, two of them, right? Control system, ritual, and routine in the culture of that. And however, he spends a large part of his working day on his boat. He doesn't work. He asks his employee to work. He doesn't work. He enjoys the life, right? So it's a typical double standard way of management, right? Two ways, two different approaches. For himself and his family, one way. For his employee, the other way. And also he can be contacted by his mobile telephone. Employee who arrive late for work have to immediately explain the circumstances to Ron. If he feels that the explanation is unacceptable, then he makes an appropriate deduction from their wages. Wages, like all costs in the company, are closely monitored by Ron. All of them, control system. Ladies and gentlemen, all of them, control system. Right? Interesting. And employees, customers, and suppliers. Let's read. Frigate currently has 25 employees. What kind of company is that? It's a very small company. It's a startup company, small company, primarily undertaking sales, warehousing, accountant, and administrations. That means a simple admin works. Also, employees are nominally allocated to one role. However, they are required to work anywhere in the company as required. That means, in simple English, I want you to do this. You just go for it. Don't challenge me, right? So this is a very autocratic way of management as well. They are also expected to help Ron in personal tasks rather than the work. Personal tasks such as booking holidays with his family, filing his personal tax returns, and organizing social events, right? In simple English, he treats his employees as his personal assistant. That's interesting. ACCA has laws concerning minimum wages and holidays. All employees at the Frigate are only given the minimum holiday allocation. And they have to use this allocation not only for holidays, but also for events such as visiting the doctors, attending funerals, dealing with domestic problems and emergencies. What are that? This is also the control system together with the story as well. Story, because everybody knows that in our company, we are like this. It's a story. And Ron is particularly inflexible about holidays and works. He has even turned down, that means refuse, request for unpaid leave. That means I don't want the money, just give me some break. No, you can't do that. In contrast, Ron is always often away from the work for a long period, studying various parts of the world. Double standard again, right? So all control systems, interesting. And Coming back to this part, the previous paragraph, this part is also a ritual and routine, and together with some kind of experiences, right? We call them a story as well. And carry on. Ron is increasingly critical of supplier that is not happy with his supplier. He said, my suppliers always try to sell me inferior quality goods for higher prices. He's not happy with the customer as well, moaning about prices and paying later and later. And he doesn't like the society in general as well. He said a period of working in the Navy would do anyone good. Now, this is typical U.S. Marine way of speaking. And he has also been in dispute with the tax authority, who he accused of squandering. That means wasting his hard-earned money. And investigation by the tax authority led to him being fined for not disclosing the fact that significant family expenditures such as holidays for his daughters overseas had been declared as company expenditure. This is funny. Actually, this is supposed to be the drawing. This is a deduction from your capital injection, right? Yes, it's drawing, not expenses. Deduction from the capital is called drawing. And if you put the drawing under the expenses, you are charged with the manipulation of your tax, right? So this is something that has been discovered by the local tax bureau. Interesting. And he got fined. And therefore, he's very angry. He thinks he needs somebody who help him with the counting and taxation works. Therefore, it was this action by the tax authority that prompted Ron to appoint Ann Lee as a company accountant. Ann had previously worked as an accountant in a number of public sector organizations, not commercial line. She did not have any commercial line experiences. She worked for public sector organization. What's the feature of the public sector organization? They are very formal, very hierarchical, with the structures, in terms of the structures. Formal structure, very strong hierarchical structures. So these are the public sector's feature. And at the same time, they need accountability in terms of the decision making, right? It's totally different from a startup, totally different from an entrepreneurial leadership style or the organizational structure, even if the power structure. Therefore, his power structure and his organizational structure will be totally different from public sector organization structure or the power structure as well. And culminating in the role as compliance officer in the tax authority itself. And Ron feel that recruiting someone like Ann should help keep the tax authority happy. After all, she's one of them. That's interesting. And Ann was used to working in an organization which had formal organizational hierarchies, as I said, specialized role and the formal controls and the systems which are not the same in Ron Field's company. She tried to install such formal arrangement with Frigate as she said to Ron, we cannot have everyone working as if they were just your personal assistant. We need structure, we need standardized processes and accountability. Ron resisted her plan, at first through delaying tactics, then through explicit opposition. And tearing up her proposed organizational chart and the budget in front of other employees, this is a humiliation, and said, I regret the day I ever made that appointment. He said after 6 months, he terminated her contract and returned back to his tax authority as a tax inspector. Right, this poor very poor. His job career has been destroyed. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's your opinion of that? The question has been completely finished. Let's do the question number 8 all together. Let's think about it. How about the story? What about the story? The story about the company is you need to identify the hero. Who is the hero in the company? Ann is the hero. Ann is definitely not the hero. Who is the hero? The boss. Ron Field considered himself as the hero. Therefore, he considered himself as the commander. He wished everybody to address him a commander, and he named the company called Frigate. That's a battleship. That's a battleship in the war. All right. So this is the first part of the story. Second part, who is the villain? Who is the villain? Remember, he doesn't like lots of people. He doesn't like the suppliers. He doesn't like customers. He doesn't like the society in general. He doesn't like the tax authority. He believes that everybody are trying to take advantage of him, right? So these guys are the villains. And he is the hero. He drives the frigate, he drives the battleship to fight against those bad guys. These are the bad guys. And he needs somebody to help him to fight those bad guys. Therefore, he recruits someone called Anne to help him. However, Anne was not smart enough and tried to install the public sector formalization hierarchies and also the accountability, this kind of internal control things into the company called startup, into the company called Frigate, which is a startup type of organizations, and she failed. And therefore, Anne did not do things correctly as what Ron wishes her to do. Therefore, Anne is not the hero. Anne is not the villain. Anne is somebody called Maverick. So this is something that we studied previously. You still remember, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the story, I said for the story to in the organization, we need to have a success story, disaster event, heroic employees, villain staff, and maverick accountant. So typically, Anne is the maverick. You need to know that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's very interesting questions. That's something about the story. And after that, this part of the question, I mean, they don't give the employees enough money. They don't give employees enough time to take their break or attending funerals, dealing with domestic problems, even like emergencies. These are all the stories because everybody talk about the company in that way, right? This is something they talk. So story is the most difficult part to be identified in these questions, and we've done. All right, congratulations. I believe you can find it. And what about the second one? Second one is the symbol in the company. So commander is a symbol, frigate is a symbol. One is the verbal symbol, the other one is a visual symbol. Finished. And what about the power structure of this organization? M is only the accountant or the tax person who tried to help him. M does not have any power at all. All right, but M wishes herself to have the power, but she failed. So who has the ultimate power in the company? Yes, Ron Friel. He runs the company. He runs everything, right? He rules everything and runs everything as well. So he has the ultimate power. He's the boss. He tells you what to do next. Don't challenge him. The power structure of this company is a typical Zeus power structure, right? That means one-man band. One-man band. He controls everything. All the power remains on himself. And what about the organizational structure? If it's a Zeus, the organizational structure is rather simple. We call them a simple structure or entrepreneur structure. That's the structure specifically designed for a startup company. All right. So after that, ladies and gentlemen, control system. And we have so many evidence about the control system. For example, like 8 o'clock a.m., 5:30 p.m., he need to make sure everybody don't arrive late and don't leave early. Here is another control system that he doesn't want his employee to take a break, even asking for the unpaid leave. So he's specifically controlling the cost instead of the innovation in the company. So he's all focusing on control system on the cost itself, right? So this control system. After control system, ritual and the routines as well. So as I said, ritual and the routines. Here is 1 a.m., 5:30 p.m. also ritual and the routines in the company. Ritual and the routine, something we do every day, something we take for granted, right? And this is one ritual and routine. And the other ritual and the routine is in this company is everybody worked like his assistant, personal assistant, filing his tax, booking holidays for him. That's another ritual and the routines in the company. All right, guys, that's it. So how about the paradigm? Finally, I want yourself to practice the paradigm. I give you 1 minute to write down a paradigm. What is a paradigm? Check the definition one more time. This is the summarized set of beliefs and assumptions and collective experiences of the organization. It is a result of the previous 6 physical manifestations. So don't copy the previous 6 physical manifestations I have summarized for you. What you need to do is to make it simple, at the same time to tell the examiner the collective experiences of this organization by referring back to the 6 manifestations. All right. So your paradigm should be simple, should be able to see the insight of this organization. All right. I give you 1 minute. Please do it. And after 1 minute, please come back. All right, guys. You got what I need. All right. Let's do it together now. So how can we summarize the culture of this company? Paradigm. Let's write together. Let's do it together. In the exam, please write your English in this way. Simple but meaningful. Frigate. Frigate runs for a personal gratification of Ron, the managing director. He believes that his benefit and lifestyle are the reward of undertaking various risks in a hostile environment. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So one more time. Frigate runs for the personal gratification of Ram, who, by the way, the managing director in the company, and he believes that his benefit and the lifestyle are the rewards of undertaking various risks in a hostile environment. So one sentence to summarize the collective experiences of the company. Would you able to write down the answers in this way? Right? Simple but meaningful. Simple but shows the insights of the company. So in your exam, you are about to write your answer in this way. All right, guys, I hope you really learned something from this question. And do remember, these kind of questions are entry-level questions. In the real SBL combat is even more difficult. All right? All right, guys, please take a short break. After that, we come to talk about the next part of your knowledge. All right? Enjoy. Bye-bye. Bye for now.